All right, we're back. So computer crashed there right when we went live, but just to kick things off here, we're here with Ray and Cooper of BlankSoles. Ray probably got halfway through his spoiler there about the beginnings of BlankSoles, and then my computer restarted. But we'll kick it back off for anyone who doesn't have context, just the beginning there. So hopefully it's a little more polished the second time around. All right, let me mute this laptop. All right, we're back live. Third take. Had to switch laptops there. Apparently, my Mac was not liking the third stream of the day. But Ray and Cooper for BlankSoles, and we were getting into just a little bit of context what BlankSoles is. So
Absolutely.
Just jump into it. Right?
Thanks so much for having us. So BlankSoles is the preeminent decentralized sneaker company. We offer a platform for artists, athletes, musicians, NFT projects, metaverses to create their own shoe brands in Web3. The way we do that is we create NFTs of sneakers and tie that to a physical twin of a physical limited edition sneakers oriented in drops. And buying into the community not only gets you a physical in real life shoe, but also membership to the augmented reality features that we'll plan to introduce, as well as metaverse ready shoes for all of your avatars, as well as membership to a lot of the in real life events that we host around music festivals, sports events, and all the major cities around the country. In terms of the early days of how this project started, a diverse group of friends effectively that had careers spanning consulting, finance, Web3 engineering, kind of traditional Web2 engineering, PR and marketing. We came together about 4 months ago and looked at the NFT market and basically saw this hole or gap in opportunity for more physical utility to be tied to digital NFTs. And as we were thinking about different ways and different physical objects, we figured that sneakers were a great way to start, partially because we all are sneakerheads on the team and we love shoes. But also because we recognize that the sneaker community is one of the hardest to penetrate, but also one of the most vibrant and exciting out there. So that's how we got started.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. And we obviously have a pair of the BlankSoles on the table here. So this was your first mint, your Genesis mint, and you guys have really hit the ground running since then. It'd be great to just jump in what you guys have been working on then. I know you guys had some massive partnerships, so it would just be great to dive into that. I don't know if you want to take that. Cooper.
Yeah, sure. I can talk about that. So, as you mentioned, we have we just did the burn list. So one of the cool aspects of BlankSoles, which Ray didn't touch on, is that you can actually, if you do not redeem your NFT, you can actually exchange that for a future launch. So we have the initial Genesis BlankSoles mint. So obviously I redeemed mine. I got my pair of sneakers right here, but let's say I didn't redeem them. I would have had the option to actually exchange it for Design Souls. And Design Souls is what we call our NFTs that are branded with a partner. So we're launching this week a sneaker with Meta World Peace. He's the one who really, the unsung hero of the 2010 Lakers championship. And God knows they need him right now, or they at least needed him this season. So it's been a great partnership. We've been really ramping up. We actually been really starting to engage more with NFT communities beyond just sneakers. Like our ideal is really try to bring physical merch to a lot of these purely PFP NFT communities, and the ones who are producing their own merch. We just have a lot of the technical skills for building and a mass market sort of sneaker that really is only relegated right now to kind of some D2C brands, but nothing really within the Web3 verse. There's a couple that are outspurting, but nothing that's really targeted at the larger sneaker community. And just like your average person who just wants a nice, comfortable pair of shoes, but happens to be into the Web3. So we actually also announced a partnership with Fantasy Islands of Everrealm. They're a really cool Web3 real estate project, and we're basically going to be making some slides with them. Another aspect that we're going to be integrating into the upcoming launches is actually voting. So we're really trying to embrace the decentralization at heart. So typically right now, how sneakers are created is a very top-down approach. You have a brand, they do a little bit of market research, they see what's out there, and then they sell you kind of a preempted sneaker. What we really want to do is take, like, maybe you've seen it, Nike, Adidas, they have options where you can customize sneakers. We want to really take that to its full potential, where we're going to be allowing communities to vote on not only the sneaker template, but the actual design that goes into it, and maybe even down the line, even the type of sneaker. We really want to get into eventually down the line to small batch manufacturing, where we can let any artist, whether they're attached to an NFT community or not, submit a design, and then we'll work with them and help them bring it to market pending the community votes on their design. So we have a lot of ambitious goal, and we're really trying to kind of make it an experience for someone rather than just buying a sneaker. Just really kind of make an experience and have a little bit more pride and ownership over the merch because you actually had a hand in creating it.
Yeah.
But what we have immediately down the pipeline, kind of taking us back from the 10,000 foot view here, is that we have Meta launch, which is going live this week. We're doing our whitelist mint that's going live at 12 p.m. Eastern time on the 16th, with our public mint going live on the 18th. You probably, if you've seen BlankSoles, we've been doing quite a bit of whitelist giveaways, but we're still filling up. I will give you guys an insider tip that if you just DM us the code META, that's METTA, with your Solana wallet address, we can get you on the whitelist now. However, that's probably not going to be true in 24 hours because we are filling up really fast now. No, it's just been a really exciting time. We also have, I'm sure not to take turns to a darker subject, but talking about kind of what we've been really doing and what we see on the horizon is we're also looking at it from a nonprofit view and really trying to integrate that. So we see right now with kind of a lot of the Web3 philanthropies is that they're focusing purely on Sol and that they're using crypto to give to philanthropies or organizations that are working towards helping the relief or defense in Ukraine. We can completely commend that, and we really appreciate those who are doing that. We really want to focus on providing relief to established nonprofits, so there's an added level of transparency, and we know that the money that we're doing, that we're giving, is exactly going there. So to make the long story short, is that we're actually going to be launching it after the Meta launch, an AR sneaker focused on Ukraine relief, where all the profit, all the proceeds will be going to Ukraine. We're partnering with a lot of cool projects on this, where basically when you mint the NFT, you'll get access to all these different communities. You'll get some perks, like for BlankSoles, you'll be able to get on a whitelist automatically for our next drop. We're also going to you get access to some of our, can be entered into raffles for our in real life events that Ray mentioned earlier. We also have Mintus, which is a really cool Web3 dating and social platform. You'll get access to a cool event that they're having in LA. We're also doing GMG Groundhogs, talking to Soul Shades, and a few others. So we're really building out the community there, and we're hoping to launch that formally after the Meta launch on the 20th ends. So that's also up the pipeline, and because we're partnering with Meta, and we're obviously really ingrained into the professional sports world, we are doing a March Madness bracket with a couple of Solana communities. In the past few weeks, we've been talking with several Solana communities, just thinking how great it would be to have a Web3 only bracket. Yeah. So we've been partnering with, again, GMG Groundhogs, High Society, VBA Sports. There's like 5 or 6. Anyways, what you really need to know is that we're offering 80 Sol and prizes to people who participate and join the communities. We'll be posting a link live shortly with that, and I think there'll be an AMA on Wednesday. We'll be providing some timing that, so check on the BlankSoles Twitter, on Discord for more information. You can also check out Fantasia Sports. They're going to be the ones who kind of leading and hosting the event, so check out them as well. Really awesome just community here, and so we have a lot of stuff going and really trying to hit the ground running here.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. And we touched on like 4 different things that we can unwrap them, but I think this is great. So for those who don't know, we figured for this specific stream here podcast, we dive right into the updates. BlankSoles actually joined us on our BSC News podcast, so that's something to check out as well. And I'm sure there's plenty of more context to get. And diving right into just what we were talking about, we can even start with the meta drop, as that's coming up massively. I think there's 2 really cool things here. You guys touched on the idea of really trying to get the community involved in ownership moving forward. But even right now with something like the meta drop, keeping exciting partnerships. You guys started with the BlankSoles, and it was this whole idea of, okay, what is coming up next? And then you guys really hit the ground running with Meta, setting this stage not only for looking to partner with athletes, really bridging that Web3 and sports industry world, which we're seeing more and more of moving forward, but then also looking, okay, where can we get involved in the Web3 community as well? Starting to talk to other NFT projects. I mean, we've seen a ton of these projects looking to get out merch regardless. So being able to have like the infrastructure rails that you guys have set up to really get a sneaker out sounds super exciting in that regard. And I think this is obviously just like a blip of what's to come, right? You guys had the BlankSoles, you had to get it out. I know there's even probably there is more shoe designs. You mentioned potentially slides and all of that good jazz. So it's really just setting the pace. And I think it's exciting to see what comes moving forward with this. Coming out with something like Meta really starts to open up avenues of where you guys want to partner, what you want to do next. And I think especially opening it up to the community as well, letting them get that guidance is incredible. And something I'm just curious, how has it been so far interacting with the community, really being in Web3 and trying to combine something like real world products with Web3? How has that been so far? What's the feedback been like?
I think overall the feedback has been positive, but as Ray mentioned, our goal is onboarding non-Web3 natives. So there are obviously some challenges too. Like I think a lot of communities often struggle with is how do you talk to non-Web3 natives and get them integrated. So we've been really reaching out over their Discord, kind of doing some hand holding, helping some people get into the Web3 community, because some people are just really interested in the sneaker component. And we realize that's a really good way to transition them and becoming into a Web3 native if we make it easy and simple. So like for our mint process, you don't need to go to, it will be listed on Magic Eden, but you don't necessarily need to go to Magic Eden. All you have to do is go to our website, blanksoles.com, click on the Meta launch tab. And then for example, if you're on the whitelist, if we have your wallet address, all you have to do is click the mint, pay for it, and then you're automatically, you have your NFT and you have your sneakers. And then all you have to do is redeem it. We try to make it as simple as possible and as close to a Web 2 experience, as contradictory as that probably sounds to a lot of the communities here.
Yeah. Only one thing I would add, or a couple things actually. First is having the highest quality physical products is really important for us because, obviously I think our NFTs of the shoes are awesome, but having the super, highest quality physical shoes like what you see here that are super comfortable, that people, love and can give input on design is super important. And as part of that, we have on our team, amazing partners that have decades of shoe design experience from all the big brands, Easy, New Balance, Reebok, et cetera, et cetera. So we're bringing all of that kind of ops expertise onto the team and then merging it with the Web3, both engineering and tech expertise that's already on the team. The second thing I would say is just the Meta point specifically. For his shoe, we've already been trying to integrate different ways to decentralize it. So the official name or the technical name for the drop is the Meta Design Soles. But, we're also looking at different ways to engage the community and coming up with like another name for the shoe, just like, Air Force Ones is a name, or the Jordan ones, or et cetera, et cetera. We actually, if you look on his Twitter, put out a poll for him asking the community, like, hey, if I rename my shoe, like, what should I call it? And we got a lot of really interesting engagement and feedback from kind of Meta fans, but also BlankSoles community members. So we're starting to see the communities merge.
Yeah. That's awesome. And really takes this Web3 concept and displays the power of it and gets back to the idea of getting away from this top-down approach, more of a bottom-up grassroots approach. So I think that's super exciting. And then even just heading down on the developments, hearing how you guys understand the audience, obviously, like you guys are looking to have tons of chats. You guys are obviously sneakerheads interested in basketball. So understanding that's probably very similar what the community is like, looking to set up something like a March Madness bracket tournament, really finding creative and unique ways to bridge Web3 and crypto as you guys have a physical product and combining those things. I just think it's super sweet to see those things go down and really helps build the community.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that a lot, Greg. I mean, I think the other piece we haven't touched on a bit is as we've been building this out and trying to connect kind of Web 2 and Web 3 and physical and digital, we have seen pain points where, you know, there's no kind of applications yet to kind of serve our purpose. For example, when we opened up redemption for the physical shoes, you know, we had to create a form to actually collect user information and shoe sizes and addresses, stuff that's like very natural in like a Survey Monkey or a Google form in Web 2. But we realized that nothing existed at the time in Web 3. So we had to create all this like tooling and infrastructure from scratch as well. So that's been another exciting road that especially our CTO and our engineer team is super jazzed about, creating this tooling that hopefully we can share with other projects down the road.
Yeah, that's been awesome. So far, what have been some of the biggest learnings from this first BlankSoles launch? How do you guys think, as you get more and more into it, improvements have been as you go along? You guys obviously probably learned a ton from this first launch and were able to take that and apply it towards this second meta launch.
Yeah, I would say a couple learnings. I mean, one, I think is it's really important for us to deliver a great kind of user experience when it comes to the shoe delivery. So I think from the first project, we definitely sorted out some kinks when it came to managing customs and coordinating with the factories, you know, getting the contact information right so we could reach out to people to talk about delays and send people your FedEx tracking numbers, like very simple stuff like that. I think we've definitely a much more streamlined process now for this meta launch in terms of data collection, data dissemination, and the right notification structure. I think secondly, you know, from the Genesis BlankSoles launch, you know, we've been really since then trying to incorporate more user input into the process, and hence, you know, an example with this meta shoe is kind of coming up with names that the user would want for the actual shoe. And I think moving forward, we're going to do that even more, having the community decide like which molds or which designs of shoes they want, which molds of shoes, types of shoes, colors. Like we just want to get the community as involved as possible. And I think, you know, other than that, it's also finding ways to keep the community engaged between drops. So, you know, between the Genesis BlankSoles drop and this drop, it was probably, you know, a couple months, 2 months ish when we were trying to prepare and build for this. I think moving forward, that gap of time is going to be much narrower because we just have a lot more drops coming up. So I think keeping the energy and kind of the teasing information for subsequent drops.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I'm starting to get down to the bottom of my questions, but overall, just hearing how quickly you guys are moving and looking to ramp things up. It was pretty early on that you guys launched BlankSoles and then worked super hard to get the partnership out, and then are also looking for other ways to get involved, right? The biggest thing obviously on the radar is this Meta Design Souls Mint, but then going forward in supporting causes like the Ukraine. And I think it's great that we've seen a massive movement specifically on Solana in that regard, and that you guys are realizing that and supporting a cause and also building a community around that as well. And then even expanding further, building events that the community would be very engaged in. As I said already with the March Madness, I think this is only a taste of what you guys are looking to do and will continue to snowball into larger things. I'm curious, we'll have about 2 more questions here, but how was the process of building on Solana? What made you guys go with this chain? And how has it been so far interacting in the ecosystem and really working with projects, trying to get collaborations and things like that regard?
I mean, we love Solana. I think it's been nothing but a blast. It's been a fantastic experience. We, you know, very early on, we chose Solana because of honestly the community, the early signs of a really big NFT community being built on top of this. Spent a lot of time with the, you know, a lot of the head folks at Solana, Raj and Stephen Hess of Metaplex, and a bunch of the PMs and engineers at the very beginning who honestly gave us a ton of support when we were launching our initial Genesis BlankSoles, because we were very focused on like minting ourselves on our own website and kind of building all of that native infrastructure up ourselves, just because of the complexity required when it comes to linking to physical assets. So I think, you know, for us, it was great community, great people, but obviously very low gas fees and kind of a very fast protocol was very, very helpful. I think when it comes to the other projects, we've found the Solana community to be extremely collaborative. If you just look at our Twitter, we've announced a bunch of partnerships and giveaways with a ton of projects that Cooper has been spearheading and can talk more about. But overall, it's been really great. I mean, you've been interfacing with a lot of NFT projects.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't know if anyone's checked out our Twitter, but we do have a Monkey Rejects PFP. So we just joined the Monkey Rejects community. No, it's been really exciting. Like Ray said, all the Solana projects have been really accepting and really just engaged generally, just with the idea and being willing to collaborate, share ideas, integrate with each other's communities. Just because, like, I think one of the reasons we chose Solana specifically because of this is like we see a huge, massive opportunity in terms of the growth of Solana through just the collaborative nature of how the communities interact with one another. I mean, we're at Hacker House Austin right now, and we've met like some really great communities already. And I literally just flew in like 2 hours ago before I got here, and I've already interfaced with like 2 or 3 that I'm hopefully going to be having some drinks with later. Not too much drink. I got to still do some work though.
No, that's great. And that's sort of the general consensus. It's great to see people come together and build in these events, especially when you start getting aspects like tying real world products to the NFTs and really bringing utility to it. I would say, just to open things up and then also close them off, like, what are you guys at BlankSoles looking forward to in the mid to longer term? What would you guys consider some successful milestones that you're looking to reach?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can talk to that. So I think that in the medium term, probably the next 3 to 5 months, we probably want to do 5 to 10 drops with all these awesome partners. Some kind of Web2 influencers, but also a lot of Web3 projects, hopefully more so NFT projects and some metaverses like Fantasy Island. And I think through those 5 or 10 drops, increasingly, we want to make it more decentralized. So pick a name of the shoe, pick a design of the shoe, pick the shoe itself, like just to have different levels of that for each drop. I think over the next 6 to 12 months, we're really excited to then make it fully decentralized. And we're building, in the works is building a product where we can actually have users come on our website, download the actual molds or skins of shoes that we have in our library, be able to design on them in 2D or 3D, depending on their technical capabilities, and then upload it to our site where we'll have a live leaderboard / gallery of all the shoes designed by basically all the, hopefully Solana NFT communities, as well as just other influencers and Web2 folks. And then we're going to build in DAO-like voting mechanics, whereas being part of the community, you get tokens to vote on shoes. And monthly, we'll take snapshots and then basically go create and generate those shoes and then sell them back to the community, obviously with special perks attached to each drop and kind of all of that jazz. So that's where, our roadmap is headed.
Yeah, I think that's really exciting, just even in the sense of really trying to, again, as Cooper, you mentioned in the beginning, going more bottom up, really giving the people more and more tools to design the shoes that they're wearing on a daily basis. So I think that's very well put and wraps things up. We went over a lot of the just biggest updates coming up. Obviously, the Meta Design Souls launch. You guys also have the Ukraine charity event coming up, and then also this Mind Madness bracket. And I showed there's a ton more stuff brewing in the books. So looking forward to what's coming out of that. And just want to thank you guys for coming on. And we'll definitely be keeping an eye out on what you guys are doing here at Solana News.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having us.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.